Hello everyone, Garnetto here. So I'm here today with a bit of a Harry Potter video. It's the Harry Potter tag. I first saw this with Kieran O'Donovan, a channel I've recently found. He's really good. He does a lot of Harry Potter stuff. If you like Harry Potter, go check him out, seriously. I will leave a link in the description below. He is fantastic. And I saw this video and I thought it looked actually really good, a really comprehensive list of things like a lot of the questions of Harry Potter and things like that, and I thought it would be good to go through and do it myself. So, here we go. So it's basically a load of questions which I will give answers to about Harry Potter. Of sort of like my opinions and things like that. And yeah, it's quite good. So, first of all, it was the favourite Harry Potter books. So I would probably have to go with Goblet of Fire here. I feel like that was a very good one. It was before it had to get too serious, so it wasn't taking away from it. And so it had the Triwizard Tournament, which was completely random. We had things like Ludo Bagman and Rita Skeeter and things like that, which made it fantastic. But it also had that really huge underlying thing. We also had Mad Eye in that. We just had so much right in that. I did love Goblet of Fire. Saying that, I love all of them. Least favourite book was Half-Blood Prince. So Half-Blood Prince for me was a bit of a, I don't want to say mess, but it was just a bit everywhere. It didn't really feel like there was a solid thing going on. And that did slightly not get to me, but it didn't. Yeah, it was just basically a lot of exposition. That's how it felt. Saying that, I did love it. It had some brilliant moments, just like any other one. I did really love it. I don't dislike the book, it's just compared to the rest of them, that is the worst. Best movie was actually Deathly Hallows Part 2, I think. Now, there is a lot of good things, but the problem with most of the ones that I would normally have put on the top is that they messed it up somewhere. Like how in Goblet of Fire, which is my favourite book, that would have been my favourite film, except they got rid of Ludo Bagman. They got halfway through the Rita Skeeter plot, then just decided to flop it. They got rid of Tum Tum Twist Candy. I can't remember what they even called them now, but they got rid of the whole part where the Dursleys where the Dursleys met the Weasleys. It was brilliant. Plus, we had this whole build-up to the whole, the Harry Potter the Harry Potter Quizzed World Cup, and then we never got to see that, and it was brilliant in the films, and it was just, yeah, sorry, it was brilliant in the books, but not in the films. That a lot of the films did that. 8, on the other hand, was very faithful, and when it wasn't faithful, it did feel like they were doing sort of improvements. The parts where they weren't faithful, like the whole, oh, Harry can feel Horcruxes, first of all, I feel Harry feeling the Horcruxes makes sense. Second of all, it was fixing from previous issues. So I love the faithfulness of the books, and the final showdown was well written. It was very well done, and I loved the final battle between Harry and Voldemort. I thought that was a very well done part of it. It was a brilliant conclusion to the film series. The worst movie, however, Half-Blood Prince. Half-Blood Prince has a lot of redeeming factors in the books. But in the film, they get rid of most of that, I think. They keep the core plot, which is good, and I feel like they do kill a lot of the bullshit, but a lot of the bullshit is quite often the big thing. It's like how they still keep in the romance between Harry and Ginny, yet they haven't fleshed out Ginny enough. They put in a bit about the Sword Club, but it doesn't actually matter. We have the whole bit about the Quidditch tryouts and things like that, but that doesn't matter. None of the stuff that they throw in matters, whereas at least in Half-Blood Prince, they have their conclusion, they have their plots. I get that they need to do that for films, but why didn't they just not put them bits in the beginning if they're going to? Saying that, we do get one of my favourite scenes in the entire films, has to be when the Death Eaters are destroying the Burrow, which was exclusive to the film, and I love that. But it was very few of them. We got a couple of good things, but lost so much more. Right, the next question was best line. Oh, this is a really hard one. In the books there's so many to choose from. My first sort of instincts were, not my daughter, you bitch, and have a biscuit, Potter. They were just brilliant lines and fantastic in context. On deeper thought, I was thinking of a quote from Dumbledore. Words are, in my not-so-humble opinion, our most inexhaustible source of magic, both capable of inflicting injury and remedying it. I think that's very good. I'm very much against the general idea of violence and extremism. I do actually believe that words can fix things, and Dumbledore having that, he put it in such a articulate way, it was brilliantly worded. But then I remembered one more thing, which was equally inspirational and came from Hagrid, of all people. I am what I am, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not even going to bother doing the voice, sorry. I'm going to drop that now. I am what I am, and I'm not ashamed. Never be ashamed, my old dad used to say. There's some who hold it against you, but they're not worth bothering with. I actually really like that. I do feel that I relate with Hagrid a lot, and I love Hagrid, and I feel that that line was so inspirational, so fantastic, and the fact that it was Hagrid saying it, the half-giant, the one who has been accused of murder, that he has had such a hard life, and that line coming from Hagrid was brilliant. Our film, anything Alan Rickman says. Probably, if I had to pick just one line from the films, it is obviously. You all know the one I mean. Leave it in the comments below what you think it is. Favourite character. This is actually a hard one. There's so many brilliant characters in here. In the film, I think they portrayed Snape a lot better than most of the other characters, and so Snape is probably my favourite in the films. But in the books, there's so much more. I would have to say either Hagrid or McGonagall. I think Hagrid is a fantastic character. As I explained before, and he's been through such hardships, yet still has that optimism. I think I very much relate to Hagrid very much and love him because of that. McGonagall, on the other hand, is just so fantastic. Her little things. It's like the Umbridge interviews, that's the thing. I'm surprised there's nothing here. Favorite part of the film, part of the books, is the Umbridge interviews. That has got to be my favorite part of the series. Anyway, yeah, and it's sort of like McGonagall's one where it's like Umbridge is in the corner and just like clearing her throat, and it's like, did you get my memo for that I was going to be doing an inspection today? And she's like, yes, obviously, otherwise I would have been asking why you're in my class. Generally speaking, her versus Umbridge was the turning point where I loved her, and she keeps that all sort of way through. So yeah, so sort of either Hagrid or McGonagall. It's very torn in very different reasons. Favourite professor. Favourite professor. I've just told you this. It is McGonagall. I know that Hagrid is also a professor, but I don't see him in the context of professor. I know that he does get to be one. I'm not denying that in the slightest. But I feel that McGonagall is the best professor. Again, in the films, this easily goes to Snape, because Snape is Snape, and Alan Rickman, seriously, why can he not come back to life and do more Snape roles? Right. Out of all the characters in the Harry Potter universe, who are you most likely to hook up with? No one. They are all way out of my league. Do I have access to Love Potion? If I have access to Love Potion or Imperius or something like that, then Ginny, easily. If I don't, then yeah, Pansy seems to be the one with the lowest standards. Right. House and Patronus on Pottermore. My house is Ravenclaw, which I think is a very good fit. I do prefer to have my intelligence and wit more than any of the other possible ones. And Ginger Cat was my Patronus, although it's a silver because Patronus is a silver, so it's a silver Ginger Cat? I don't know. Which class would be your favourite from Hogwarts? I do agree with Hermione's argument on Muggle studies, seeing that from a other point of view. Saying that, I think the novelty would wear off pretty quickly with that. Whereas Care of Magical Creatures, I would love. I think that would probably be my favourite class through and through and through. I don't think that would ever go. I think that there are a few more that would be worth mentioning, like flying, where the novelty of it would be the thing. But I think that if I had the choice between doing 4 years of any subject, it would be Care of Magical Creatures. Because that one will just keep staying interesting. Whereas you learn to fly, you're done. You learn what basics of Muggles, you're done. You get past the novelty of the whole, oh, they've gotten it mixed up, or they think this is more important, or whatever. Alright, what spell would be the most useful to learn? Is it really bad that I'm going to say Imperius Curse here? My first instinct was to say Accio. I think Accio would probably be one of the best ones, or Wingardium Leviosa. I think those would probably be some of the most useful to learn. But then I'm thinking that I could just Imperio somebody, and then they would pass me the Accio item, meaning that it's Accio as well. And then it's got all the extra benefits, like I can make my friend Tommy give me all of his shaming cards, and I could Imperious people into subscribing. Imperio subscribe. And then, yeah, and it's just like, I think that there's so many more benefits to the Imperious curse, although I do agree that ethically it's bad, it is more useful. Just saying that. If I'm not allowed to use that because of the ethical reasons, then Accio. Right. If I could have one of the 3 Deathly Hallows, which one would it be? This one's got 2 answers. Are we talking about in the real world or the Potterverse? I think in the Potterverse, the cloak would be the best one. But in the real world, the Elder Wand. I mean, I want a wand. I don't have a wand. Just giving me a wand on its own is more than enough. Give me the Elder Wand, the most powerful one in existence. Boom. You got me. That would be so useful in the real world. In the universe, though, I think the wand would just summon challenge and doesn't add that much. I mean, if you got the wand, then yeah, that's the thing. We never really get to see the Elder Wand at its prime. We see it fighting against Voldemort. We see Harry having a brief hold of it, but other than repairing his wand, that's all he really does with it. So I think that the cloak in the Potterverse, the wand in the real world. If you could bring one character back to life, who would it be? Easy. Don't get me wrong, there are so many characters that I wish were brought back to life, but if it's only one, Fred. Even in death, the twins should not be separated. It's like that thing that somebody pointed out, I saw it on the internet, where it's like when you look at Molly's Bogart, it's got, you know, dead Harry, dead Ron, dead whoever, dead twins. It's both the twins dead, because even in death, they shouldn't be separated. And also bear in mind, we know there is a concept of an afterlife. If we look at the stone, that brings people back from the dead. We see Harry's parents and all that are coming back. There is clearly an afterlife. Fred is alone in the afterlife, George is alone in life. That is just not fair. They need to be together. What does Harry mean to you? This is the last one. So finally, what does Harry Potter mean to you? This is quite a tricky one. If you asked me 10 years ago, my answer would instantly have been everything. It was my favourite franchise, it was my biggest interest, my safety net, I absolutely loved it, I was obsessed with it. And that shaped me as a person. It has had that massive impact on my life when I was younger, which means that even now it is still shaping me as a person. Then the series ended, and I kind of lost interest. I was still a mega fan for a while, but I never got into Pottermore, so there was never anything new, really. I was just sort of reading them, and I sort of, although I've still got an interest in reading, it's sort of like it's gone down significantly. Whenever I tried to return to it, it just wasn't ever keeping me for the entire series. I would usually just about be able to get through the film series, but reading the books was just too much. Then Fantastic Beasts happened, and although I've only seen it recently, that announcement did spark it back because of the promise of new things. I think that's sort of the big thing. When the series ended, there was nothing to keep on with, whereas now we've got Fantastic Beasts, we've got this new thing, and I think that is very good. So, yeah. So at this point, I'd say it's a major interest. Not quite as big as Doctor Who or Pokemon, but I would say easily my 3rd biggest franchise. If you told me I had to live my life without it, I would be very upset, but it wouldn't ruin me like if you remove Doctor Who from the equation completely. But I can't deny the effect that this series has had on my past. So yeah. So that's the Harry Potter tag. So I think I'm supposed to tag a couple of people. I know full well they're not going to do this, but I'm going to tag Super Carlin Brothers because I know they love Harry Potter. So yeah, I want the Super Carlin Brothers to do this if they can. Also, seamus Gorman as well. I love seamus Gorman. I'd love to see him do this. And any of you guys, if any of you do this, leave a comment down below and let me know that you've done it, and I will watch it because I love seeing these. I think these are very good. Whilst you're at it, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. Did I say anything really horrendous? Was me dissing Half-Blood Prince the worst thing I could possibly have done? Please leave comments below. And yeah, watch more videos. Let me know what you'd like to see from the channel. And yeah, I'll see you next time.